Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Self-love through freedom and connection. So feel free to connect to the brave never fall on these social media platforms. If you find anything of value in this following podcast, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and support the brave and bold tribe growing one purposeful soul at a time. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you feeling balanced? Are you still journeying on an intentional, purposeful path? How are you feeling? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Clear your mind. Take a moment of silence for yourself right now in the moment. You are here now. How are you feeling? You have only one lifetime to get the most out of it. One. Just one. And if you can think deeply into what that really means, that means every single day that you wake up, that is another day gone you will never get back. And you don't know where the end of the road is going to come. We have no idea. We have to surrender to the fact that we have no idea when we're going to leave this earth. So it goes back to that question. If this was your last moment on earth, what would your last moment be? Would you be happy to live in that last moment forever? Would you be content with that last full day forever if you had to live in it? But we too often forget about what we are doing here. What is your purpose for breathing? How valuable are you? Are you fulfilling your obligations, or are you just slowly just walking through life instead of taking in everything that life has to offer, everything that it has to offer, to unlock every mystery and every discovery you can possibly acquire for yourself, to make sure that your life is a fulfillment, that you have fulfilled your purpose. It sounds like something out of a bad movie. People say it all the time. Fulfill your destiny, fulfill your purpose. It's a really simple concept that has a lot of meaning. And it's just the idea of don't waste your life. Don't make people to be things that they aren't, whether it's good or bad. Don't make life to be worse than it actually is. Don't make life more complicated than it has to be. Don't forget that you're here for a reason. Don't forget that there are people around you who want to tear you down, and there's people around you who want to build you up. It's your life, but we have to accept it for what it is. What do you truly have control over? New challenges, fair or unfair, present themselves every day. The urge to control overrides the need to surrender to what you cannot control. Life happened before us. It will continue after us. Us, the people of this world, all free yet connected, have our own personal, individual duties to be the best of ourselves and the best collectively. If only we all could accept life for what it is. It's too easy to quit, to turn and run, to reject positivity, to aim lower, to blame others, to harbor selfish thoughts, to attempt to manipulate and control others. Much harder to manipulate and control ourselves in a purposeful way, grounded in peace and joy. So here we are. Here we all are, at that inevitable, life-changing crossroads. The weight of our very existence upon us. Time to choose. A life of chaotic hardships and pain due to trying to control the uncontrollables, or a life of peace, joy, and purpose due to surrendering to what life offers us. You can't change people. They must do it for themselves. We are only responsible for our own lives, to push into each day all of the positive joy we can muster, to attempt to go beyond the failures of yesterday so we can celebrate success tomorrow. Don't give up. There's so much more to do, to learn, days to laugh, and goals to level up on. You are not a waste of a life. Life is not a waste of a journey. Own your own existence and thrive in the uniqueness of your purposeful soul. A Ronin's Way of Balanced Energy, Episode 5. Accept life for what it is. Each day the sun rises, as constant as anything that we could possibly create for ourselves as far as discipline goes. And one of the great things about discipline is that once you get in the rhythm of it, and it's discipline about any particular thing, it doesn't always have to be about discipline with running every day or working out or getting your steps in, fitness related things, or having discipline about what time you wake up every morning or what time you go to bed or what foods you eat. There's another discipline out there. It's a deeper discipline that we should have with ourselves, and that's the discipline of understanding why we get through each day and what needs to be done each day that truly defines us for who we are. When we look back at the day, what things in that day made you say, I accomplished what I needed to accomplish today, and I even surprised myself with some things I didn't even know I could do. And they were all based on who I am, on the values that I stand upon. They were all unique to me, my special, unique, purposeful self. Only me could have done those things today. Only me, because they were part of my story. They were part of my existence, my purpose, my joy, my peace, my positivity. They're all unique to me. I didn't do something that someone else could have bumped me out of the way and said, hey, I'll take over for you. And we're not talking about superficial, surface level things. We have to go deeper in life. Surface level is not good enough. When you're just scratching the surface and you're getting through by the skin of your teeth every day and you're holding on for dear life and the world is kicking the shit out of you, raise your hand if you think that's a good feeling. Raise it right now. If you think raising your hand to this is saying, hey, I surrendered to life and I'm ready to change something, then raise your hand. Because we all should be raising our hand. We all do things on the surface level each day that we need to say, okay, we need to focus on that a little bit better. Now, some people are a lot further along their journey than others. And some people look at these people and say, I don't know how I'm going to ever get there. I don't know how that person got there. What am I supposed to do? That's a very simple answer. Why don't you go talk to that person? And if you don't want to talk to them, if it's somebody reoccurring in your life, watch that person. Learn from them. Mimic the good things about them. Mimicking things from other people and incorporating them into your life is not the same as going deeper in and saying, this is my purpose. Mimicking people, that's surface level stuff. You have to get deep inside of who that person is to really figure out what makes them tick. What is making them be that consistent? What is making them thrive in this crazy, chaotic world of ours? You got to run it back. You got to run it back to yourself. Put yourself in their shoes. You have to acquire some empathy. You have to understand that person, regardless if you identify with their values or not, they have their values that they stand on that has pushed them to another level in life. It has pushed them towards something they're comfortable with in a healthy way. It has pushed them towards, not only are they comfortable, but they still want to push themselves even further. They want to level up each day. They want to turn up the heat a little bit each day. They want to turn up the notch. They want to go faster. They want to make sure there's plenty of gas in the tank. And they keep refueling, recharging. They're going to keep going. While you're standing there watching all the dust cover all over you, while there's not one person, 2, 3, 100, 1,000 people are just running past you. And you're just standing there, waiting. What are you waiting for? What's going to happen in your life that's going to change so significantly that you don't have to work to get it? Life is what it is. It's here for you to take any aspect of it that you want. And it goes back to you. What are you willing to fight for yourself? What are you willing to stand on for yourself? What are you willing to push through each day for when you don't have to, for yourself? Because that's where the true contentment comes into play. When you know you've overcome things when you didn't have to do it. You push yourself during situations where you could have turned and made it a very easy escape, went home and went to bed. But you didn't. You stood there. You made decisions, you detached and made the right decisions for yourself. You blocked out all the noise, all the chitter chatter in your head from all these people who think they know you better than you know yourself. And you managed to go beyond even the version of yourself in that moment that you ever thought. And that's a good point. In the moment, that's all it ever takes, is for you to go past a little bit further in that moment than you would have a few moments before. We have to break things down in their smallest components and not overthink things. When we overthink things, we put big, giant problems in front of us. And we try to solve these big, giant chunks of problems every single day. And it gets us nowhere because we don't really fundamentally understand what those big, giant chunks of problems actually entail. We're just looking at, again, the surface level. We're not looking at how can I break through that and see what's inside. Let me break this apart, see how it works. Oh, once I get in there and break it apart, I can see this goes with that goes to this, this led to this. If this isn't here, this doesn't work. You have to break through the surface level bullshit and get down into the nitty gritty. You got to get down in there. You got to get dirty. You have to dig. You have to discover. You have to uncover everything about what makes you you and what's in front of you. And we just don't want to do that a lot of times. I know everybody's gone through this. That's why I say when we don't want to do something, I'm speaking to every human being because we've all been through this. We've all been through periods of time where we just fundamentally, just at our core, don't want to face our fears. We don't want to accept reality for what it is. We don't like that other people are succeeding and we don't know how to do it. We don't like that we're afraid of certain aspects of life. We don't have any trust and belief that we can become more than what we are. We're allowing way too many excuses about who we are, and we can't change things about ourselves. We're waiting for someone else to come and change us for us. Well, I got news for you. People can help you, they can guide you, but they cannot change you. The only person that can change you is yourself. Because you have to surrender to the fact that you're ready to change in the first place. Self-awareness is a tremendously big thing when it comes to a life-changing awakening. It's that self-awareness that things are wrong and they need to be fixed. It's that self-awareness that there are people in your life that are willing to help you, and you need to keep those people. And the people who aren't willing to help you, you need to get rid of them. We're afraid of that. Well, what happens if I get rid of everyone? I'm alone. I recommend go back and listen to the previous podcast we did on silence and solitude. I won't rehash that here. Go check that out. But it goes back to that silence and solitude. It's needed at times. It's needed more than you think. In the moment, it's too easy for us to say, don't want to deal with it. I'll deal with it tomorrow. You're not promised tomorrow. It didn't work out yesterday. That was yesterday. You have to live in the moment. All the rest of that shit doesn't exist. It's only what you're doing now. And you have so much control over your decision making. You can do something unpredictable every freaking moment of the day. But too often as human beings, it's in our DNA. We care about what other people think. We know, well, this isn't the right time to do this. I'll wait till later. Somebody promised me they'll help me. I'll wait for them. Instead of saying, okay, well, all that may be, but what can I do right now in this moment to change something? Who can I trust more in my life that I'm not trusting? Who's special in my life, truly special in my life, and you don't want to let them go? Are you really doing enough to keep that person in your life? If there's some job that you want, are you really aspiring to get that? Or are you just standing around doing nothing? Could you do more with the things that you already have? Or are you just saying surface level, good enough? Are you content and comfortable with being an average version of yourself? And that comes with being completely honest. Are you a complete person, quote unquote, which I don't believe ever in being a complete person. I think there's always something to learn because you're constantly changing. You may be a complete version of yourself for this day only, but tomorrow you're a different person. So you have to start off from scratch. That meter goes from 0 to 100 each day. The excuses you made yesterday don't have to be the same excuses you made today. The failures you had yesterday don't have to be the same failures you have today. And those excuses you made the day before, maybe the excuses you're making today, don't have to be the excuses you're going to make tomorrow. The failures you had today don't have to be the failures you have tomorrow. It's all about forward momentum. It's about staying focused on what's going on despite the failures and the mishaps and the people letting you down. Those are all built-in excuses that produce failure. If you want to get past failure, you have to believe whatever you're going to do, you're just going to give it a solid attempt. You're going to give it a solid attempt. You're not going to keep talking about what you're going to do. You're actually just going to do it. And you have to detach and stop worrying about what people think about you with those decisions. There are only so many special people in this world that are going to come into your life. You have to be ready for them just as much as they have to be ready for you. That's your obligation. People have special things and people and places that come into their lives, and they wonder why they're here and gone in a flash. It's because you weren't ready for that. You hadn't put in the work. You have not earned what you believe is this super special, great thing that you should have in your life. You haven't earned it. You haven't worked on your end of the bargain to be able to keep that value in your life. Which is why it's so damn hard to meet people who are aligned with you. Because both of you have got to do your homework before everything will line up. Otherwise, one of the two people, or maybe both of you, are wasting your time. And it'll cause you to have a chaotic relationship, a chaotic work environment. You'll start noticing that things in your life are starting to get harder for some reason. And that's because you are bringing in the negative energy from someone else who you aren't aligned with. Or you may be doing that to that person. We can't always look at other people and other places and things and say, that's the cause of my my failures in life, for my excuses, for my inability to actually move past each moment in a positive way. Those are all things that go completely against the grain of owning who you are, of just owning up to every single thing that you do in a particular day. It's no one else's fault. If you get things accomplished each day, no matter how much help people give you, you still had to be present and there to help yourself. You have to be a participant in your own rescue. So regardless if things are going good, bad, or ugly, the common denominator is you were standing there the whole time, involved, actively or inactively. The role you play in each one of your moments is extremely important. No one's asking you to go out to be a robot, but the detachment aspect of it, to be able to go out each day and say, you know what, this is my day. I'm going to detach from all the negative thoughts that I have, from all the failures and all the people in my life that are toxic. Those are just excuses. Those are things that are shoved into a big, heavy bag and they're strapped on my back, and I'm supposed to walk all day with this burden on my back. You don't have to punish yourself that way. There are people in your life right now who are doing all that they can to stay in your life because they believe in you. You have to identify those people and identify how you are relating with them. How are you benefiting from them and how are they benefiting from you? What's the value for value? What's the investment? You can't forget about those people. Life brought that person to you for a reason. You can't just allow these people to leave your life without you giving the best effort to give the value back to them if they're bringing you equal value. They're still hanging around and sticking around with you for a reason. But we take that for granted so often in life. We don't see it. We don't see that this person in front of us is there for us. Maybe the relationship is great. Maybe it's not. But that's for you to look into yourself and say, what part am I playing? Again, that ownership of who you are. You can only accept life for what it is if you own who you are and identify what part you play in life. To look at life as what can you give to it instead of what you can take from it. That's what life is about. What do you have to offer this world? These people that you want in your life so bad. What do you have to offer them? That job that you want so bad. What do you have to offer that workplace? You have to look at every single aspect of who you are and own up to it and not ask for what you haven't earned. Just as you're going to get a job and work your way up the ranks, if that's a job you truly love, you put forth all the effort and focus you can possibly give to this particular job, this career. That same focus should be there for the people who are in your life. And I keep going back to people because people are the ones that are going to help you the most. Not things, not material things. We talked about that in previous podcasts. Not possessions. That's not going to help you as much as you believe. Not the vacations and the places that you go to. Those things are not going to help you. What's going to help you is people who have overcome and done things that you're striving to do. They have the blueprint. And instead of going over and looking at the blueprint, we talked about this before. You're taking your blueprint and trying to staple it to theirs and trying to hop onto their journey instead of just saying, how did it go for you? Now I'm going to roll my blueprint back up and I'm going to go revise this blueprint. It's all on you. You can be pointed in the right direction. We can't make you walk in that direction. That's why help is only so much. That's why you need a support system in life. The biggest support system you can have ever in life is your own support system. To have in the back of your mind every single day, my life is not a waste, comes at a price because you have to figure it out. And it takes a long time. Some people, it takes shorter times than others. But the journey of life is a long one. And if you really want to figure out who you are and what you mean to this world, stepping on that journey and getting going, or continuing your journey, those are all brave and courageous things because you don't have to do them. Nobody's saying you have to go on a journey. Nobody says you have to be a good person. No one says you have to not love your possessions and define yourself by them. Nobody says you don't have to introspect with yourself and go into solace and solitude to figure out who you are. Nobody's saying that. But the biggest thing you cannot do afterwards, if you don't do any of those things, is you certainly cannot attach yourself with people who are doing that. If there are people out there who are accepting life for what it is, and they're taking what they have, and they're just saying, I'm just going to get through each day. I'm content with what I have. I'm going to make the best of each day, every opportunity, and it's all on me. I recognize this person in my life is super special. I want this person to stay with me because we're super aligned. This person is listening to me. They're learning from me. This person is guiding me, and I'm trusting myself to accept that guidance. But I'm not going to let this person control and manipulate me either. Guiding someone is a dangerous thing as well. There is a thin line. Someone can purposely guide you in the wrong direction, and you have complete trust of this person. You completely trust that this person has no influence or control over you. But deep down inside, because you haven't done your homework, you don't realize this person's values are not really aligned with yours. Which, again, let's roll it back. We can take it all the way back to you. What do you stand upon? That's your biggest defense against people like that. There's so many opportunities in this world, so many areas in life, so many people, so many places and things in this world for you to learn from. There is absolutely no excuse for any individual who has the means to do it to be able to go out and work towards what they want. Now, if you live in a third world country and you have no access to technology, to even restrooms, and you're running around in your bare feet in the desert, or you're living in a place of extreme poverty, those are people who have an excuse. However, think about what I just said. These are people who have an excuse. But if you go on any website, Google it. Google kids playing in impoverished countries and go look at how kids play in places of poverty. Look how children play in the outskirts of Afghanistan, the jungles of the Congo, or any place that has extreme living conditions, outdoors, what we would consider third world, and a lot of people consider quote unquote primitive. I would say us, even with our technology, the people who has the most technology, we're still very primitive if we still have to battle things like racism and acceptance of others and inequality and all that. I would say we're still pretty primitive in any level of humanity right now. But let's just say if you want to base it on just living conditions, an opportunity to excel and get what you want out of life. If you look at them in their living conditions, those kids play and have fun and learn and level up every day on something, and they don't give a shit about what's going on in the rest of the world. They have accepted life for what it is for them. We may look at them and say, that is so primitive. But to them, they're saying, no, you're the one who's making life more complicated. We're living in nature. We're doing exactly what we were meant to be doing. And they will be right. No one has a right to tell any other person that what they're doing is not living in the terms and definitions that we would throw on and label other people for not having or having. We can't look at a kid who's outside in the jungle and they're half naked and they're running around swinging off of ropes over the creeks You look at that, and that's the kind of stuff we do on vacations, people. They do it every single day. We go camping. We take basketballs and soccer balls. We go out and we play. These people are doing that from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed. And they're steeped in tradition and discipline. They're living in silence and solitude. They don't need anyone. All they need is their core values that they stand upon and the people around them. They're free, yet they're connected to each other. They're accepting life for what it is and making the best of it each day. Think about that. A lot of these primitive third world countries that have all these people, their cultures, a lot of the activities they have each day, swimming and fishing and going out and doing all the things that human beings, we go out to theme parks and we want in the adrenaline rush, we want to go camping, we go fishing, we go on road trips, we go to all these places that mimic what these people live in every single fucking day. And then we come back home from vacation and guess what happens? Everybody says it. I don't want to go home. I'm miserable. I just want to stay out there. But we turn on the television and say, look at those savages. They're living in primitive third world conditions. Even though you just did the exact same thing they did and paid money to do it. And these people live it for free. Just wrap your mind around that. When you see kids bored, staring at their phones, waiting for the charger bar to go all the way to 0. And then they're bored. Think about that. They're looking out the window. Go outside. We've lost a bit of that in modern culture here in the modern world. So it goes back again to your definition of yourself. Are you accepting for what life takes, is what life is giving you for yourself each day? We don't live in third world countries. Not everyone. But the people who have their definition of what their life is, it doesn't matter what country you live in. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. Humanity is still the same. We still all need some reason to get up every day. We have to have some reason to want to get to the next day. We have to have something that defines us, some values that define us. That is a mark, a label, an indelible label of who we are. Because that's where judgment comes in from other people, because people will get their values and they'll line them up for themselves and say, even if they don't even know what truly lining up values for themselves really are, but then they judge people. Well, my family did this and this person doesn't do it, so that's wrong. That's not fair as well. Accepting life for what it is means accepting life for what it is for you. Unfortunately, not every individual on this planet is going to have the same experience as the most successful people or the most unsuccessful people. You're going to have that version for yourself. The range from success and failure for yourself equals the range of success and failure that you see from an entire civilization, a culture. There is no difference. It's still a timeline. It's still all steeped in freedom and connection, but ultimately it's steeped in who are you? And what are you doing each moment that defines you as an individual? Are you asking for value from other people that you don't have for yourself? Are you looking to do something that you're just not surrendering to? Are there fears that you still need to overcome? Are you happy with your lifestyle? These are all questions people either ignore, act upon, or are just straight up afraid of. Acting is the most important thing with these questions. Physically doing something about those questions and answers. Fully understanding what you are, who you are, what you stand upon, your values, your purpose in life. Those are the things that will bring you true contentment in life. Not the comfort stuff. We're not looking for comfort. We're looking for contentment. We're looking for something that defines you in a way for yourself. We're not talking about being defined by other people. We're talking about you recognizing and defining yourself as an individual who has purpose. And accepting your existence for what it is. But not just accepting it, also accepting the fact that you can change who you are anytime you want. Again, other people can't change us. We have to change us. We could say, I no longer want to be addicted to this, or I no longer want this toxic person in my life. I no longer want to be uneducated. I'm going back to school. I want to be in a different tax bracket. I'm going back to college. I'm going to get a better job. I'm going to learn a trade. I'm tired of feeling like a piece of shit. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to hire a coach. I'm going to talk to a mentor. I'm going to do something that's going to make me better each day. And I'm not going to blame other people for my shortcomings in life. Whether they were, again, good, bad or ugly, fair or unfair. My shortcomings are my shortcomings. I have to own up and hold myself accountable for my own shortcomings. It doesn't matter if I had unfair situations in life. I can't take. I have to give. I have to be a better person for myself. Then and only then will good things start to come towards you, because you'll be able to recognize and surrender to what life has to offer you. You'll recognize an opportunity now that life presents for you, and you'll be able to take it knowing, I got this, because I know who I am. I know what I can do with this opportunity. I know what I can build in this relationship. I know what I can do in this career. I'm trusting myself. I'm trusting my mind, my body, my heart, and my soul. I'm trusting the people who stood beside me where they had no right to stand beside me. They should have ran a long time ago. I know that, and they're still here for me. I have to recognize and keep these people in my life. They offer me value. I find myself going to them far more than they ever come to me. My job, I have to figure out what it is about my career and the things I want to do in life that makes me look forward to going to work, but also not work me to the bone to the point where I can't function anymore. You have to get to a point in life where things feel like you have surrendered to the correct version of what your purpose is. And if something doesn't feel right, if something feels out of alignment, you feel unbalanced, you have to look into it. You have to start making those incremental changes and start looking at those big blocks and diving into them. Those big, huge problems in front of you. They're not going to go away just because you say, go away. In fact, they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You have to attack them and start breaking everything apart and start diving into the pieces and figuring out what's the best strategy for me. And believe. Trust and believe in yourself in that regard. You have to trust that this world is going to bring you good things. But again, if we're not ready for those good things, we may get them for a moment and they're gone in a flash because we weren't ready. We've all had that happen to us, right? We've all had opportunities and people that came in our life and we just weren't ready for them. We just weren't ready. And it made us miserable, and it screwed with our self-esteem and our self-respect and our self-control, made us afraid and gave us anxiety, and we just went into depression. We all have had those things and these people and these places that have come into our life. And we've had to fight after those encounters, after we leave that job that we thought we would do great at and it turned out to be miserable, that relationship that we thought would be great and it turned out miserable. We have to recognize when those things are miserable and move on. There's no time to waste. But we also can't get impatient. Accept life for what it is. Your mission for today is to get out something you can write on. You can put it in your phone, or if you're in a hurry, you can just go through it in your mind. Think about and write down all of the things you are ungrateful for. Not grateful for, all of the things you are ungrateful for. And we all have them. Things that you're missing, people that you're taking for granted, places that you're taking for granted, things that you're taking for granted. Write down a list of everything you are ungrateful for. Then, underneath that, write down everything that you're being selfish about. The people you're being selfish with, the place you're being selfish with, the things you're being selfish with. Write all those things down. And then finally, write down another list of things that you know you're doing currently, but you can be doing a lot better at. So basically, what are you doing now that you could be doing better by putting forth a little bit more effort? And that goes back to ownership. So what do you need to own about yourself? What aren't you doing in life that you need to work on? Those things are your mission. What are you ungrateful for? That's a very important one. What are you ungrateful for? Life will always come back to these things. We forget about the things we're ungrateful for. We forget about the things we're not doing better. You have to focus on these things. You can't just look at the good parts about you. You have to also look at the bad. And that's your mission, is to look at the other side of it. Get out of that gray area and go to the darker side. And figure out what it is in life that you aren't doing more of. All the excuses, all that. You have to figure that stuff out. And once you do, things will be much clearer for you. This is your day. You are here now. These are your moments. You own them. You are brave, bold, powerful. You do believe in yourself. You know you have more in the tank. You know the glass is half full. There is still more room for improvement. There is no end. Believe, believe, believe in yourself. You do believe in yourself. You do believe you can do whatever it takes to get the job done. You don't procrastinate. You don't embellish. You don't lie. You're true to yourself. Peace is in your mind. Peace is in your heart. Peace is in your body. It is definitely in your soul. You are greatness. You have purpose. Intentful purpose. You are here for a reason. You are ambitious. You are loving. You are kind, empathetic, compassionate. You are self-love. You have self-control, self-respect. You are joy, peace, freedom, happiness. You are connected to everything in this world and in this universe. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.